Faith is to have an unwavering belief. You have complete and total belief that what is promised or what is said to be done will be done. You have that absolute, total belief that if only God can speak, or if only the man of God can speak, or if only I can come in contact with the presence of God, this is going to happen. That is faith.
30 or 35 minutes thereabouts, I'll be sharing with us, just bringing back to our remembrance. We all know some of these things. I'll be sharing to us what I titled Carriers of His Goodness and Mercy. Carriers of His Goodness and Mercy. Picked out some Bible characters who have enjoyed God's goodness and mercy, who through their activities, through their records in the Bible, displayed, exhibited, and enjoyed God's goodness and mercy, and pointed out some of the things they did that enabled them to walk, to enjoy, and to fulfill God's goodness and mercy. So we'll be looking at these Bible characters, and I'll be sharing with us some of their characteristics that enabled them amongst their peers, and while in the sojourn of their life, enjoyed God's goodness and mercy. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So quickly, I'll run into it. One of these Bible's character is Joseph. Joseph, you agree with me, exhibited and enjoyed God's goodness and mercy. So also did David, and so also did Esther. I would like to bring to our knowledge that God's goodness and mercy is not a function of, I call it ex machina. It does not happen out of the machines. God's goodness and mercy is prepared for, is planned for. He plans for His goodness and mercy. And at times, it happens such that they say when preparation meets opportunity, success is inevitable. By reason of their actions, by reason of their characteristics, when they encountered or had certain encounters, God's goodness and mercy showed up, and it looked like it was out of the machines. So what were these characteristics that they displayed? One of it I have here is there was a readiness to showcase God, or for God to be manifested at every circumstance. There was a readiness to showcase God in everything they did. They didn't take it to their name. They didn't take it to their glory. They didn't say, oh, it's because I've come this far, I can do what I can do. Joseph had been dreaming before he was sold into slavery, before he was imprisoned in Potiphar's house. And the Bible records that while he was in prison, he came across the baker, the chief baker, and the chief cupbearer. And they were also in prison with him, and they had a dream. And they could not interpret this dream. And it got to the ears of Joseph that they had a dream. In fact, the Bible records that when he saw them, they were fallen, they were disturbed. And he asked them, what is it? I had a dream. Oh. My dream was like this, was like this, was like this. My dream was like that, was like that. There were 3 baskets on my head. And they narrated their dream to him. Joseph's first response, as the Bible records, was that God is the interpreter of dreams, and he will interpret this dream. That was his first response. Before that time, Joseph had been dreaming. He knew how to interpret dreams. That was not his first time of listening to dreams. He was skilled in the art of listening to dreams and interpreting it. He could have said, "Nah, small thing, no worry." He could have even monetized it. He would say, "Okay, your own is like this. We pay 1 point, this. Your own is like this. We pay 3 point." He could have monetized it. It was his skill. But he acknowledged God. He said, God is the interpreter of dreams. That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. He showcased God. Or was it when Potiphar's wife attempted to sleep with him? He said, I cannot do this wickedness against God and against my master, Potiphar. There was a readiness to showcase God. So when he was in problem, God's goodness and mercy showed forth for him. God's goodness and mercy was there for him. And it was looking like he was just sailing through. Not even looking like that was what it was. He was just sailing and sailing and sailing through. God's goodness and mercy. Or is it for David? At various times, the Bible makes us understand that David sought God. He sought the effort. Ready to showcase God. Ready for God to be manifested through him, through us, through our skills, through whatever it is that we do. Are we ready to showcase God? Praise the Lord. Another thing that I observed in these people was their strength and consistency in character. I call it strength and consistency in character. Their character did not dwindle. It did not go hither, thither. It was not pushed by wind of doctrine. Their character was one and the same all through. Strength in character. Strength in character. Esther displayed strength in her character at all times. From the time Mordecai ushered her into the king's palace, up until the time she was requested for by the king, up until the time the king stretched his scepter towards her, she displayed strength in her character. Not once did the Bible record that she was lukewarm or she was hot today and cold tomorrow. Or that she was biased with her attenders. Even amongst her attenders, they knew her for her strength in character. They knew her for her character. So also David, strength in character. He was always tending to the sheep, always in the bush. Always in the bush. No wonder when he became king, he was always fighting war. Because war was in the bush. You don't fight war in the city. Their characters remained the same, were sustained were sustained, were sustained. And it spoke for them. Let me also notify us that sometimes strength in character might look like it is not assessing or achieving God's goodness and mercy. Strength in character has made some people to say, why am I even a good person? Because of your goodness, because of our goodness in strength in character, they say, this one is not, you don't want, this one is not part of us. So no, this one is going to expose us. And we feel that we have been deprived of some benefits. Of course, Joseph would have felt deprived of some benefits if he felt that not sleeping with Potiphar's wife will make him lose all that he was enjoying. If he placed his focus, his eyes on the material things, because the Bible records that Potiphar placed him in charge of everything. But because of his strength in character, those things were not his focus. Those things were not his focus. I can imagine I put myself in his state at that time to put me in charge of everything for the king. I'm a big man. I'm a senior man. It's what I tell the king that he hears and he listens to. I am like the counsel to the king. So anything you want to do, it will still come to my table. And I will do everything to maintain that position. I will do everything, whether corny, whether good, whether bad, to maintain that position. But little did he know that ahead lied a greater position. And because of his strength, his character, he lost the one that he was maintaining at that time. He lost it. So for some of us, our strength in character might have seemed as if it has made us to lose something tangible. No. The Bible makes us understand that by reason of that strength in character, it is an attribute for the enjoyment and the accessibility of God's goodness and mercy. It is a required character for assessing and enjoying God's goodness and mercy. Another thing that I identified in the lives of these people, I was happy when I came into church and we were filling the form. And Pastor Femi was guiding us on how to fill the form. For those of us that came later, I encourage us to get that form and fill it. The form helps to identify the strengths and weaknesses of our gifts, spiritual gifts. The next point I was going to mention was that their gifts were identified and nurtured. Also, these gifts enabled them to unlock and have access to enjoy God's goodness and mercy. The gift of David was that he was always ready to accept responsibility. He was always ready to accept responsibility. From when he fought the bear, to when he fought the lion, to when he fought Goliath, those were responsibilities. And when he saw it, he accepted it and he took it head on. No wonder he was being called a man of war. I don't know, for some of us that you know in your heart that you're always attending when responsibility comes. You always want to put a step forward. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to put your best foot forward. And the thing is looking like this thing is not yielding any result. There's no money coming out of this putting best foot forward. Let's look for another alternative. But that was not David. He didn't care to David whether money was coming from it or not. As far as he's concerned, he was doing what he knows how to do best. Accepting responsibility. Responsibility for his sheep. That was a gift that enabled David to unlock and enjoy God's goodness and mercy. Because in the continuous practice and indulging in that gift, unknowing to him, he was making way for God's goodness and mercy. He was tearing up God's goodness and mercy. And when the time came, it worked for him. No wonder our text is from Psalm 23. Surely, the beginning, surely, he was confident. Surely, goodness and mercy. There was no doubt about it. Surely, because he had seen it played out in his life over a period of time by reason of accepting responsibility, that gift. Every time he accepted responsibility, the gift was renewed. That's the thing about gifts. Every time he's put into work, it is renewed, it is refined, it is remodified, it achieves the next level. But if the gift is dormant, it decreases, it reduces. And when the time for it to manifest comes, is of no use. It's weak. It cannot perform. But no matter how little, every time a gift is put into use, no matter how little, every time it's put into use, there is a renewal of the gift. There is a refining of the gift. Is it for Esther? The way I put it down, Esther's gift was that she had the gift of speaking with wisdom. And instruction was in her tongue. Just like the way Proverbs put it. She had the gift of speaking with wisdom. Instruction was in her tongue. She doesn't have to say, go and carry that chair. Go and sit down there. No. But because of that gift, she persuaded King Ahasuerus to do her bidding, to do her instruction. The Bible records that before you go into the king's inner court in that time, except he stretches his scepter to you. If not, it's death. If not, it's death. Now, another thing that wonders me is that as soon as Esther got the opportunity to be listened to by the king, she didn't ask for, what's his name now? She didn't ask for Shamak's head. No. She invited him for a banquet. That was the first time she got presence of the king. She got audience of the king. Of course, somebody like me, I could just think, say, this is the first and the last time you use everything here and now. My Lord, item 1, 2, just begin to make your request from head to toe. It's today, now or never. But she had the gift of wisdom. She invited the king for a banquet before placing her request forward. And of course, it was granted. Or was it for Joseph? What was the gift of Joseph? Here I put it as he had a heart for others. I observed that in the story of Joseph, at every point in time, he had a heart for others. No matter what, he wanted to look after you. He wanted to care for you. How your body? How are you doing? What's happening? How can we help you? How can I help you? He had a heart for others. No wonder, even when he was in the prison, he was identified. had a heart for other people, for your well-being. He always wanted to go out of his way to do something for you. Little did he know that the tipping point of this his gift was enabling him to access and enjoy God's goodness and mercy. I don't know, for some of us who have this gift, and it's looking like every time I express this gift, people want to take advantage of me. Or people are even taking advantage of you. But by the actions of Joseph, the Bible records, and I'm here to encourage, that continue in that act. You don't know what it is tearing up. You don't know what it is tearing up. When it will happen, people will say, that's so. But they are not aware of the back scene, behind the scenes. We are in a world today where we are more responsive than being proactive. In my career, the same thing applies. And I try to encourage my colleagues and my subordinates. See, don't wait to take action to avert. Plan so that you don't even know what you are averting. That you have kept to time. You don't know what you have averted. Don't be disturbed about what you want to avert or what you think you can stop. Just be there on time. Move that table on time. You don't know what you have averted. You don't know what you are stirring up. That consistency is a law, is a natural law. That consistency is stirring up something, or it has averted something. So I don't know what gift it is that we have identified in our lives. That's why I encourage us to pick up that form and fill it. A lot of gifts are there to be identified. Continue in the practice of that gift. Refine it. It is unlocking, it is enabling the accessing to God's goodness and mercy. So that like David said, surely God's goodness shall follow me. Surely he was confident of it. It's not on that probability. So that when we are saying it, we are not saying it and having some doubt, having is it possible that God's grace and mercy will follow me? Is it? Maybe. Let's just say it, Sha. As everybody is saying it. No. Let it emanate from a confident state. Surely. Now, another thing I identified in the lives of these characters, which is the last thing I have written down, is that they listened to counsel and instruction. They listened to counsel and instruction. Mordecai instructed Esther, and she took to instruction. If the head prisoner did not observe that Joseph took to instruction, he will not make him head in the prison. Because the Bible records that even when Joseph was in the prison, the head prisoner made him head over the warders. I make bold to say that it is because Joseph took to instruction, he took to counsel, to detail. Joseph served this person, Joseph washed this pen, Joseph did this, and he did it diligently. And the man said, "Oh boy, make I go rest." Joseph, come on, continue. He took to counsel and instruction. He took to counsel and instruction. I mean, Joseph was in Potiphar's house. He could have said, "Do you know where I'm coming from? I'm coming from the king's palace. How are you, prisoner, come be giving me instruction?" You will just rot in there. The man will just look at him and say, "Is you came from prisoners, from king's house, but don't worry. We'll relegate him to the last guard room where rats, and by the time he has suffered, he will now realize that, I shouldn't have said what I said." He could have said so. Because the king, he was close to the king. But he took to instruction. He didn't feel that, I've been in the king, I've been with the king, I operated with the king. Who is this prisoner to come and give me instruction? No. He took to counsel and instruction. And by reason of that, today, he's referenced as one of the carriers, one of those that exhibited God's goodness and mercy. Last thing I would like to say is that God's goodness and mercy is a lifestyle. We're encouraged to have it as a lifestyle. And how do we do that? One of the ways of doing that is by declaring it, confessing it, expressing it. Always declare it. Today I enjoy God's goodness and mercy. Today I walk in God's goodness and mercy. I move in God's goodness and mercy. I operate in God's goodness and mercy. It's a psyche for the mind. Before you know, it becomes default. You don't need to be prompted. We don't need to be prompted about it. I enjoy God's goodness and mercy. The mind has no option than to renew itself, than to tailor itself to that confession, to that declaration. Oh, I enjoy God's goodness and mercy. Oh, I'm a carrier of God's goodness and mercy. Oh, I'm a descendant of God's goodness and mercy. Surely God's goodness and mercy follow me. Declare it, confess it. In and out of situation. Waking up, thank you. I wake up into today's God's goodness and mercy. As I sleep, surely God's goodness and mercy enables me to sleep. The way tablet works. A doctor once told me that a woman came to the hospital. My head, oh. And she was complaining seriously. What is it? My head is that she cannot, every time she bends the thing, as if her brain wants to fall down. So the doctor examined her. Oh, madam, nothing is wrong with you. Sorry to my Hausa folks. She was Hausa. And some of them, they are not too, until there's action sometimes. That's from the barracks. So they've not agreed that they are well yet. No. I know as they do me for body. I know now me get my body. But nothing is wrong with you. Just go. No. Okay. So what did the doctor do? Give her vitamin C, white vitamin C. Be taking it 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the night, and every time you want to eat, take 2. I'm telling you. White vitamin C. And you know, the next time you saw her, madam, we will not see you again. I'm okay. It's just that she just wanted, there's this feeling of, if you don't take something, the thing there, your body has not reconfigured. What am I trying to say? That is how the mind reacts when it is consistently filled, when it is consistently fed. When you feed it with that declaration, God's goodness and mercy, God's goodness and mercy, God's goodness and mercy, it will become its default state. Praise the Lord. I hope that here I think my time is up. I've been able to remind us of some of the things that we should partake in. And know that God's goodness and mercy does not happen out of the machines. It is a build-up. But it is because people are able to identify it, and by their expressions, it is so. So let us bow our heads wherever we are. And just tell God, Father, enable me to be a carrier of your goodness and mercy. Enable me to enjoy your goodness and mercy.
Faith is to have an unwavering belief. You have complete and total belief that what is promised or what is said to be done will be done. You have that absolute, total belief that if only God can speak, or if only the man of God can speak, or if only I can come in contact with the presence of God, this is going to happen. That is faith.